Good morning on this cloudy Tuesday morning. I was trying to remember what morning it was there. It's Tuesday morning. It's just getting light outside as I record this. Today we're going to continue looking in Luke 6. Well, we're looking, and we've been studying over a number of weeks Luke's Gospel. It's a bit of a meandering, a wandering through the scriptures, picking up things and on the way, little nuggets, little truths. So today I want to pick up in Luke 6, and we're going to just have a look at the Sabbath and everything around the Sabbath. Let's just see Jesus' approach and try and pull together a number of aspects for us. And I hope at the end of it, I've given a few things to think about, a few things to challenge us. And really, that's my aim through the study of the scriptures, because it's not about knowing lots. It's about having things that we can apply, work in our lives, work through our lives, and go on that sort of ongoing discovery with God, with the Holy Spirit, with Jesus. So Jesus here, it's Luke 6 and from verse 1, and Jesus is, as he often does, not trying, he's just turning things upside down. And so it's on the Sabbath, and Jesus is going through grain fields. And his disciples begin to pick some heads of grain, rub them into their hands, and knead the kernels. And it says, some of the Pharisees ask, why are you doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath? In other words, they've been watching every moment. I think that they're looking at Jesus because they see that he should be setting the example for his disciples. And to them, this taking of the grain, rubbing the grain, and everything is a sign that Jesus, as the master, is not really holding or pulling his disciples in line. It's almost like there's a bit of anarchy going on here. He says, Jesus' answer, have you never read what David did and what is he and his companion when he and his companions were hungry? They entered the house of God, and taking the consecrated bread, they ate what is lawful only for priests to eat, and he also gave some to his companions. And Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. So you notice what rules do. Rules make the Sabbath Lord of man. But Jesus is turning it around. There's another little Sabbath story here in verse 6 onwards. It says, on the Sabbath he went to the synagogue and was teaching, and the man was there whose right hand was shriveled. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. So they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. Yeah, when it says that, it's obvious that he has done it before, and now they're pulling together their argument and they're ready to go after him. And so Jesus knew what they were thinking. I love this, the fact Jesus is looking and going, okay, yeah, they're they're setting me up, they're going to challenge me, but he didn't pull back from that. And he said to the man with the shriveled hand, he said, get up and stand in front of everyone. So the man stood there, and Jesus asked them, I ask you, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy it? He looked round at them all, then said to the man, yeah, they're not arguing back, are they? Stretch out your hand. He did so, and his hand was completely restored. Now, this is the reaction of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. It says they were furious and began discussing with one another what they might do to Jesus. So there we got this in a summary of the story of the Sabbath. Now, I just quickly want to take us through and remind us. You go into Genesis, and God created the world over a number of days, over 6 days, and then on the seventh day said he rested from his work. So mankind was created on the sixth day. On the seventh day, you have a Sabbath. So in that sense, mankind was created into rest. And the Sabbath rest was an important feature. And as you work through, you come into the law, and under the law, the Sabbath was put in place where people were to rest and to abstain from their work. And also, this principle of the Sabbath was built into the land as well. We're told that every seventh year they were to let the ground, lie fallow. And the amazing thing is the provision from the sixth year was enough to cover the seventh year. It was the same with the Sabbath. The collection, say, of the manna the day before the manna didn't rot on the Sabbath, but the manna was there as a provision for the Sabbath. And then you've got, with the land, you've got the Sabbath every 7 years, and then after, when you get to year 49, you have a Sabbath, and then you had the year of Jubilee that was like a second Sabbath. So you actually had 2 years where they didn't work the ground and could only eat what was already harvested. But the miracle of the harvest was the harvest covered both of those. And so there you have this journey that carries on into the New Testament, where you've got people now following the Sabbath because it's a law, and they want to uphold the law. And somehow, by upholding the law, in their minds, it was part of really righteousness. And then Jesus comes along, and it appears that he's throwing out the Sabbath. But then if you get into Hebrews, you've got a little statement about the Sabbath, that the Sabbath has been made for men, and that we as believers enter into a Sabbath rest. In other words, it's not talking there just about a day, it's talking about something of the kingdom that we enter into, which is about rest. So I would look at it and go, okay, in the Old Testament, remember I've said before about the law being like a slither, like a sample. So in the Old Testament, God put into creation, put into the week, a day of rest, which was a demonstration for us of what is available to us in the New Testament through Christ. So there it was in part. Jesus didn't come in to destroy the Sabbath. He came to bring the fullness of the Sabbath, which is a rest that we live in. Now, the rest becomes an internal rest, becomes the place in God where we live from. We live from a place of peace and a place of rest on the inside. And it should become a marker for us in our lives. That if we're losing our peace and that sense of rest, we're designed in God to be at peace with Him and peace with ourselves. So if that's going, then it's time to stop. It's time to take a look and ask what's out of balance. And if you're married in a relationship, again, it's a good indicator. If your relationship isn't at a place of peace, you need to stop and rebalance and find that place where your relationship will flow in peace. And the nature, if you're in a relationship, is that there'll be different seasons. I look at life for Sue and myself. We had a short season without children. We had children quite quickly after we got married. We're in a different season. We foster, so we have children coming and going. But we've learned what it is to keep making adjustments. Now, Sue tends to pick it up, surprise, surprise, long before I do. But when we lose our peace and lose that sense of rest in the relationship, we know there's an adjustment to be made. And if we don't make that adjustment, it starts to affect everything. So here's the thing about the rest and the peace. It's not about a day, it's about where we live from. So my first provocation to you, my first challenge is check your own life, the pace of your own life. Now, the nature of lockdown for many people, it's slowed things down. Now, for some people, particularly where there's a lack of interaction with people, that's become very difficult. But for others, I've heard many people saying it's allowed them to do things that they didn't have time to do. So maybe in the adjustment, whenever it comes back into normal life or normality, we need to look as individuals and on how we put our lives together. You see, you think about it, the logic says, come back to the Old Testament, the logic says, if I only work 6 days, I've got a way of being more productive, if I'm a farmer, by working the seventh day. But the law said, don't do that. And it was demonstrated by the provision that came in through the manna. They didn't collect manna on the Sabbath, but there was provision for the Sabbath. They didn't, sow the crops and everything on that 7th year, but there was provision from the 6th year to cover that. And on that year of Jubilee, they had a second year where they didn't sow crops. That seems in one way a disaster. in a world that is pushing productivity the whole time, how can we improve productivity? You know, if that you can think that becomes the focus, and you know, I can make more money, I can do more of this, more of that, but actually it's violating something. It's violating our human need to rest and to restore. Now, I wasn't brought up in an environment where there was a strict Sabbath. I was aware of the Sunday, but I didn't have that. I did at different times go to churches where they were very strict about the Sabbath, about Sunday. Sunday was a day off. I think of one particular place where they made a big thing about Sunday being the day off, and then as students, we'd all go around someone's house, and she'd have loads and loads of people around, make the most amazing Sunday dinner. That wasn't a day off. That was probably their busiest day of the week. But I think the key thing is it's not about a day in particular, but it is about having rest built into our lifestyle. And it's a rest from our work. It's a place to make sure we stay connected, stay balanced, stay at peace, work from peace. And so I want to encourage you out of this. Jesus, he tackled, if you like, the religiosity, it's a Sabbath, a day off, you don't do anything, by doing good. And he said, hey, let's turn this round. You've not been created so that you obey the Sabbath. The Sabbath has been created for you. You have something in creation made for you. It's called the Sabbath Rest. How are you expressing that in your life? Are there adjustments to make? Are there adjustments you've made because you've been forced to in this current season? But you need to take note and mark that you're able to find ways of including that in your day-to-day life. Now, I know that in society today, even when I was growing up, the shops closed, everything's shut down on a Sunday, and after lunchtime you couldn't buy anything. And so society has changed. But the question is, in that, how do we apply the principles that I think are there for our well-being? It's not a law, but it's something about our well-being. How are you? What's your Sabbath look like? What's your rest look like? Hopefully I've been clear on that. I want to leave that as a thought with you, and that life is balanced and brings health and well-being, body, soul, and spirit. That even that rest will benefit your body and your overall well-being as well. So bless you. Have a great day. And as in Wales, we come out of a little bit of the lockdown. Hope I might be able to bump into or see one or two of you soon. Bye for now.